Hello friends, in this video we are going to discuss about the 5 marks important question that may be arise in the examination, and here the questions are, that is the question number 1 from the nationalism in India. How did the plantation workers understand the idea of Swaraj? Explain. Here the second question is, why did Gandhiji decide to launch a nationwide satyagraha against the proposed Rowlatt Act 1919? How was it organized? Explain. Here the third question is, what were the two types of demands mentioned by Gandhiji in his letter to Viceroy Irwin on 31st January 1930? Why was abolition of the salt tax most stirring demand? Explain. Here the fourth question is, describe the role of peasants in Awadh in the non-cooperation movement. Here the fifth question is, describe the main features of the Salt March, or this question can be also raised as, how did the Salt March become an effective tool of resistance against the colonialism? Explain. Here the next question is, describe the spread of non-cooperation movement in the countryside. Here the next question is, how did the cultural processes help in creating a sense of collected belongingness in India? Explain. Here the eighth question is, evaluate the contribution of folklore, songs, popular prints, etc. in shaping nationalism during the freedom struggle. Here the ninth question is, explain any 5 major problems posed by First World War in India. Here the next question is, explain 5 points about the Gandhiji's idea of satyagraha. Now questions from the chapter manufacturing industries. First question is, which factors are responsible for the decentralization of cotton textile mills in India? Here the second question is, the sugar industry is now shifting from north to south. Mention main reasons. Here the third question is, name the factor which plays the most dominant role in the ideal location of an industry. Explain any 4 reasons in support of this factor. Here the fourth question is, the textile industry is the only industry that is self-reliant and complete in the value chain. Justify this statement. Here the fifth question is, explain 5 different ways to control the environmental degradation caused by industries. Now the questions from the lifelines of the national economy. Examine with examples the role of means of transport and communication in making our life prosperous and comfortable. Here the second question is, roadways still have an edge over railways in India. Give reasons. Here the third question is, why do the movement of goods and services from one place to another require fast and efficient means of transport? Explain with example. Here the fourth question is, why is air travel more popular in the northeastern states of India? Explain. Here the fifth question is, railways are the principal mode of transportation in India. Explain. Here the sixth question is, describe the significance of tourism as a trade in India. Here the seventh question is, explain any 5 major problems faced by the road transport in India. Eighth question is, why is the distribution of roads not uniform in India? Explain with example. Here the ninth question is, what are the advantages of pipeline transportation? Now the questions from the political parties. State the various functions of that political parties perform in a democracy. Here the second question is, what are the various challenges faced by the political parties? Here the third question is, lack of the internal democracy within parties is a major challenge to the political parties all over the world. Analyze the statement. Here the fourth question is, elucidate some of the recent efforts taken in our country to reform political parties and its leaders. Here the fifth question is, what is the political party? Suggest and explain any 4 measures to reform political parties. Here the sixth question is, modern democracies cannot exist without political parties. Examine the statement. Here the seventh question is, what is one party system? What are its merits and demerits? Here the eighth question is, increase in the number of states or regional parties strengthened democracy in India. Comment. Here the ninth question is, the growing role of money and muscle power is a major challenge in India. Explain. Now the questions from the outcomes of democracy. Democratic system is better than any other form of government. Support the statement with example. Here the second question is, how does the democracy produce an accountable, responsive and legitimate government? Here the third question is, in actual life, democracies do not appear to be very successful in reducing economic inequalities. Explain the statement, giving an example. Here the fourth question is, what are the factors which are responsible for the economic development of the country? Does democracy provide guarantee of economic development? Here the fifth question is, explain how democracies lead to the peaceful and the harmonious life among citizens. Here the questions from the money and credit. State the role of Reserve Bank of India. Here the second question is, which are the modern forms of money? Here the third question is, how do the demand deposits share the essential features of money? Here the fourth question is, what is debt trap? Here the fifth question is, which governmental body supervises the functioning of formal sources of loans in India? Explain its functioning. Here the sixth question is, what is meaning of barter system? Why is double coincidence of wants is an essential features of barter system? Here the seventh question is, why is modern currency accepted as a medium of exchange without any use of its own? Point out the reasons. Here the eighth question is, why should credit at the reasonable rates from the banks and the cooperatives be available for all? Here the ninth question is, why is it necessary for the banks and the cooperative society to increase their lending facilities in rural areas? Here the 10th question is, how do the banks play an important role in the economy of India? Now here the questions from the chapter Money and Credit. What is the difference between formal sector and informal sector loans? Give 2 examples of each. Here the question number 2. What are the formal sources of credit? Why do we need to expand formal sources of credit in India? Here the question number 3. Why is it necessary that banks and the cooperative increase their lending in the rural areas? Explain. Here the question number 4. RBI plays a crucial role in controlling formal sector loan. Explain. Here the 5th question is, self-help groups enjoy a lot of the freedom in their functioning. Explain. Here the 6th question is, self-help groups can be help in solving the problems of a credit in rural areas. Here the 7th question is, why are informal sources of credit preferred in the rural areas? Give 5 reasons. Here the 8th question is, why are credit arrangements not fair for all sections of society? Give 3 reasons, suggest 2 remedies for the problem. Here the questions from the globalization and the Indian economy. Explain the role of multinational corporation in the globalization process. Here the question number 2. Describe any 5 strategies adopted by the MNCs to earn more and more profit. Here the question number 3. What were the reasons putting barriers to the foreign trade and the foreign investment by the government of India? Why did it wish to remove these barriers? Or the question may also be arised as, analyze the role of globalization on the Indian economy. And this much questions are sufficient. Thank you so much for watching this video.